Hello, hello. So tell me a little bit more about how do you help my patient?
Excellent. So there's a few different ways that we kind of work together. One is definitely with moms just having a baby, postpartum depression, transition into motherhood, transition sometimes into the second child. That'll flip your world. Um, how to right? I mean, oh my goodness. And then kind of how to navigate being a wife, a mother. A lot of these moms own their business, so sort of the boundaries and priorities between the three different roles. And then with teens, whenever you need help with navigating a teenager, specifically teens engage in a lot of drama and helping them navigate through the different worlds of high school, friendships, social media, interacting with parents. So not just helping the parents help kind of raising a teenager, but specifically coaching and helping the teenager through these different things. So I think that's kind of how you and I work together.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
definitely. I would agree with all those aspects. Great description. And what are some tools that you use in your practice?
So there's a variety. When working with your clients, especially the younger ones, I'd say it's a lot of hands-on arts, crafts, because that type of thing opens children up very quickly into talking. Coaching parents and giving them tips on raising children and teenagers. I think that's pretty important too. So more of the family counseling or co-parenting in certain situations, I think is pretty important. But the model that I tend to use is very inspiring. It's positive psychology, moving people forward, cognitive behavioral, sort of changing that mindset. And we'll talk a little bit kind of later on about shifting into gratitude, I think is important. But balancing, probably helping people balance is another tool that I use as well.
Okay. And in what settings do you see patients?
So the one thing that I think you and I have in common is our service is customizable and concierge based. So there's a variety of different settings. There are teenagers that I kayak with. There are teenagers that I walk with. There are adults that don't have the time to go and drive 30 minutes to session and then sit an hour session and then drive back 30 minutes. So a lot of it's FaceTime, Zoom is sort of the new way of coaching and counseling people as well. And then I do have an office space. Some people don't like the Zoom and the FaceTime, so we do phone calls. But it's definitely concierge based and based on your needs and what you like to do.
Yeah, I would agree. Wherever the patients need us to be.
Yeah, we've been called to duty.
Oh, we need some kind of fun emoji for this or something like that. Well,
There's got to be one
so,
out there. Under like 60 billion emojis. So yeah.
oh my God, I bet. Okay, so for families watching, what specialty could this be?
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, why don't you tell us and let me change the view here so that now we can see both of us.
Okay.
So what specialty are you?
So I'm a coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. So I sort of help people move their life forward, overcome barriers, and set priorities. So I'm a life coach. I'm a mental health counselor.
Great. So our month topic is mental health, so very appropriate. Thank you so much
Okay.
for joining us today.
Yeah.
And I know we wanted to talk a little bit about some tips, so maybe
Yeah.
like top 3 tips that families can use to help during these tiring times, because it's definitely been quite the year for many.
It has. Number one is going to be identify your priorities. Learn to say no to certain things. When you know your priorities, anything that comes in from the outside world that doesn't fit into those priorities, you're going to be more apt to say no to. A lot of times, most times, the world has a lot of requests for us and we're pulled in different directions. Yes, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. And then we forget top 3 or 4 priorities. So identifying those priorities and sticking to them. I would encourage you, number one, health, yourself. People forget that we're a priority. So you and your health come first. And then for a lot of your clients, I would say it would be like after their own personal health, it would be wife, mother, and then employee. And if you stick to that order, you'll find that life is a lot better and you're a lot happier. So first would be identifying your priorities and sticking to them. Second would be present in the moment. Oh my gosh, so many times we're physically here and our minds are somewhere else in the universe. So try to find a way to bring it back. If you've ever heard the word meditation, there's another word for that is being present in the moment. That's the definition of it. So when you're with your spouse, when you're with your children, mentally be there too. Your mind's going to wander, just catch it and bring it back. And then my final tip would be gratitude. Yeah, we're coming out of a time filled of negativity and confusion and just not understanding. But research shows that you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. So if you find a way to shift your perspective in any given moment toward what you have or what you're grateful for, you'll live a lot happier life. So identify your priorities, be present in the moment, and be grateful for what you have. Those would be my top 3 tips.
I think those are great. I would definitely agree, especially now with a lot of social media. Being present in the moment is big because you may want to be like, oh, but let me take the photo of this because this looks so cool. Or let me, call my mom and tell her what I'm doing right now. But being mindful of remembering to put that aside and enjoying that moment is really important. So.
Absolutely. And if you find that you don't have a lot of time to give to, like, especially with your clients, being new moms or new dads, they might not have a lot of time for their spouse or a lot of time for this or that. But if that's okay, it's not about having the quantity of time, it's about the quality of time. So if you can spend only 30 minutes with your kid, but that's dedicated time, that's much better than 4 hours and not even being present.
Yeah. I also tell a lot of my parents to not forget to ask for help because they are sometimes like overwhelmed with like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. I got to do that. I'm like, if you ask for help, someone will help. So don't forget to ask for help.
Yeah, and a lot of times, especially your spouse or family that love you, they want to help. We just have a hard time giving it up, or we become a perfectionist and we micromanage the help. I know we're out there. I did it too.
I'm guilty of that. I'll be like, no, I'll just do it. Like giving little small tasks, like, okay, you do this, you do that, you take care of this, things that they can handle. And even if you don't have family in the area, sometimes there are things that they can help even when they're not in the area. So like a big one for new parents is feeding themselves healthy, nutritious foods. And sometimes it's just hard they don't have the time to do that, but families can like do like call a food service and have food delivered to them, or like do groceries where they ship groceries to their home. So like there are many creative ways that also family who is not in the area could help as well. So asking for help.
Asking for help is huge. And I want to add just one thing to that very briefly, and not to feel guilty for asking for help. So please, those of you listening right now, we bum on social media and we flip through, and what we see is a demo reel of the highlights of the best moments of everybody's life. So moms, dads out there, you see, wow, Jamie's doing it all. She's raising these kids, and in every picture, they're happy. And just so you know, we're all falling apart behind the scenes, but you can't see that. And so people compare themselves to what they're seeing and get really down on themselves. The happiest people are reaching out for help. So don't feel guilty and don't compare yourself to what you see on social media, because it's just a highlight reel. It's not reality.
Oh yeah, 100% agree with that. And well, thank you so much for joining us. I know I don't want to take too much of your time, but if you could tell us about how families can reach out to you, they can always contact me, and I know we connect with each other, and that's a great way of sending a referral. But how, if the family is just watching this, they may not feel comfortable talking to me about it, but they want to contact you, how can they do that?
Absolutely. If you just go to my website, drjaimek.com, DRJAIME, the letter K.com, you can find out everything about me. You can watch videos. It'll link you to all my social medias, my book. Everything you want to know about me is on drjaimek.com, and exactly how to reach me is right there with a button.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.